Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is your girl, Pastor Courage Melina of Bold Faith Community Church. Welcome to Mornings in the Word, where we are reading through the chronological Bible reading plan Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. EST. It's a great way for you to build a habit of getting into the Word and to hear from some very amazing women. I'm one of those women as we read the Bible and provide any like insights or perspectives that the Spirit drops on us as we are reading through Jonah or reading through the Bible. Clearly, I'm reading Jonah today. I gave it away. Spoiler alert. This is a 188 in the chronological Bible reading plan. And so I'm going to be reading, it's one of my favorites actually, Jonah, chapters 1 through 4. And in case you don't know, that's the entire book of Jonah, one of the short ones. Okay. The Lord gave this message to Jonah, son of Amittai. Get up and go to the great city of Nineveh. Announce my judgment against it, because I have seen how wicked its people are. But Jonah got up and went in the opposite direction to get away from the Lord. Anybody running from the Lord? He went down to the port of Joppa, where he found a ship leaving for Tarshish. He bought a ticket and went on board, hoping to escape from the Lord by sailing to Tarshish. Tarshish. But the Lord hurled a powerful wind over the sea, causing a violent storm that threatened to break the ship apart. Fearing for their lives, the desperate sailors shouted to their gods for help and threw the cargo overboard to lighten the ship. But all this time, Jonah was sound asleep down in the hold. So the captain went down after him. How can you sleep at a time like this? He shouted. Get up and pray to your God. Maybe he will pay attention to us and spare our lives. Then the crew cast lots to see which of them had offended the gods and caused the terrible storms. When they did this, the lots identified Jonah as the culprit. Cast lots, it's like drawing straws. I speak English sometimes. It's like drawing straws, like whoever gets the short straw, the long straw, or whatever, however do that, to see like who's the problem. Like we're gonna do this to see who was actually the problem here. And it turned out it was Jonah. Um, when they did this, the lots identified Jonah as the culprit. Verse 8. Why has this awful storm come down on us? They demanded. Who are you? What is your line of work? What country are you from? What is your nationality? Jonah answered, I'm a Hebrew and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the land. The sailors were terrified when they heard this, for he had already told them he was running away from the Lord. Oh, why did you do it? And they groaned. And since the storm was getting worse all the time, they asked him, what should we do to you to stop this storm? Throw me into the sea, Jonah said, and it will become calm again. I know that this terrible storm is all my fault. Instead, the sailors I'm gonna come back. Rowed even harder to get the ship to land, but the stormy sea was too violent for them, and they couldn't make it. Then they cried out to the Lord, Jonah's God. Oh Lord, they pleaded, don't make us die for this man's sin, and don't hold us responsible for his death. Oh Lord, you have sent this storm upon him for your own good reasons. So I just want to get this picture in your head for you. God tells Jonah to go and deliver a word against the people of Nineveh and let them know that the Lord is mad at them because they over there doing wicked things, right? Jonah's like, bump that. He don't want to go and deliver this word. He don't want to do it. So then he goes in the opposite direction. Now he's on a boat with people who do not know him, men he doesn't know, and the answer to the problems that they are facing. They are now in trouble. They are in a storm, fighting for their life. Jonah is the reason for that. Jonah says the answer is to throw me over. They had so much respect for human life. They had so much human decency that they didn't even want to throw Jonah over. I'm sure in their mind they thought we're going to kill him. They didn't even want to kill Jonah, even though he was the reason for the storm, and they were taking personal hits as a result. Interesting. Verse 15. Then the sailors picked Jonah up and threw him into the raging sea, and the storm stopped at once. The sailors were awestruck by the Lord's great power, and they offered him a sacrifice and vowed to serve him. Now the Lord had arranged for a great fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was inside the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Then Jonah prayed to the Lord his God from inside the fish. He said, I cried out to the Lord in my great trouble, and he answered me. I called to you from the land of the dead, and Lord, you heard me. You threw me into the ocean depths, and I sank down to the heart of the sea. The mighty waters engulfed me. I was buried beneath your wild and stormy waves. Then I said, O Lord, you have driven me from your presence, yet I will look once more towards your holy temple. I sank beneath the waves, and the waters closed over me. Seaweed wrapped itself around my head. I sank down to the very roots of the mountains. I was imprisoned in the earth, whose gates locked shut forever. But you, O Lord my God, snatched me from the jaws of death. As my life was slipping away, I remembered the Lord, and my earnest prayer went out to you in your holy temple. Those who worship false gods turn their backs on all God's mercies, but I will offer sacrifices to you with songs of praise, and I will fulfill all my vows, for my salvation comes from the Lord alone. Then the Lord ordered the fish to spit Jonah out onto the beach. So Jonah was a free man out living his best life. The Lord gave him an assignment. He went in the opposite direction, bought a ticket. Then it was a big old storm, and then the men threw him over. Now, but he had a free life before. Then he was in the water. Now he's about to drown and die. He's praying to the Lord. Now he's swallowed up by a fish. He is praying this prayer from the belly of a fish. He's giving these praise and these thanks from the belly of the fish. And it just immediately made me think about how maybe the situation was way better, easier before the Lord called me, before the Lord gave me an assignment, and then I was disobedient or whatever. And now I've had all this tragedy, all these horrible things, all these hardships and obstacles. And now I'm in the belly of a fish. Being in the belly of the fish is not better than the freedom that I had before I disobeyed God. But recognizing that the Lord could have allowed worse, that I deserved worse, takes a different level of spiritual maturity. So Jonah might not have been, the best of the best. He might have been running from the Lord, but he at least had the spiritual maturity to recognize, I might be in the belly of a whale, but I'm alive and well. I might be in the belly of a fish, but I'm alive and well because I was drowning. I was about to go down to the depths and die. And I prayed. And he hasn't done any repenting, or he hasn't done what the Lord has said. He about to be dead now. Now he's floating down, falling down to the bottom of the ocean. And yet he still had the sense to, one, call out to God, and two, to really be giving the Lord some praise here about how he responded. He's not like, okay, well, yeah, you saved me, but you could have sent me back to my house. He's in a place where he's spiritually mature to recognize, he's spiritually mature enough to recognize that in the belly of the whale, in the belly of the fish, is God's grace and his mercy. I wonder if you are in a position right now. I wonder who's in a position right now where you're going to have to be there for a little bit. This is not your final destination, but where you are is God's grace, mercy, and it's an answered prayer because you were begging for life. And while your life doesn't look like you thought it was going to look, while it doesn't look like it used to look, you were begging for God to give you some peace. You were begging for God to give you some peace of mind. And now you're in a new situation. He has saved you from that anguish, whether it was physical, mental, financial. He has saved you from that place where you always felt so bad. He saved you from that thing you were drowning in. And now he's got you in a space that may not be the best, but you recognize, oh, this is where I am right now. This in between, in the belly of this fish, this is God's grace, mercy, and favor on my life. Can we recognize that? Chapter 3, then the Lord spoke to Jonah a second time. Get up and go to the great city of Nineveh and deliver the message I have given you. This time Jonah obeyed the Lord's command and went to Nineveh, a city so large that it took 3 days to see it all. On the day Jonah entered the city, he shouted to the crowds, 40 days from now, Nineveh will be destroyed. The people of Nineveh believed God's message, and from the greatest to the least, they declared a fast and put on burlap to show their sorrow. He did not go there and say, the Lord might destroy this in 40 days. No, he said in 40 days, the Lord is going to destroy this city. And they believed him, and they were like, oh no, we about to fast and pray and see if we can get a different outcome. When the king of Nineveh heard what Jonah was saying, he stepped down from his throne and took off his royal robes. He dressed himself in burlap and sat on a heap of ashes. Then the king and his nobles sent his decree throughout the city. No one, not even the animals from your herds and flocks, may eat or drink anything at all. People and animals alike must wear garments of mourning, and everyone must pray earnestly to God. They must turn from their evil ways and stop all their violence. Who can tell? Perhaps even yet God will change his mind and hold back his fierce anger from destroying us. You got this bad report. The prophet said this is what's going to happen. The man of God said this is what's going to happen. The woman of God said this is what's going to happen. This reminds me of like David and that son that him and Bathsheba made when he killed that lady husband. The Lord has made a decree. He has said he is going to destroy this city in 40 days. They were like, okay, the Lord said he's going to destroy the city, and maybe he will destroy the city, right? Maybe he's not going to listen to us. But maybe if we fast and pray and everybody is not eating or drinking and everybody is praying, maybe the Lord will give us a different outcome. Maybe the Lord will change his mind with what his plans were. What's so boggling about that is that we can get a positive word from God. He will tell us he's going to do something. He will make a promise about our marriage. He will make a promise about our family. He will make a promise about our ministry, our money, our mindset, relationships, our health, our healing. He will give us a promise that he's going to do something positive in our life. And we won't fast and pray to stay focused until that comes to pass. These people, the Lord said they doomed, and they were like, well, maybe if we fasted, though, maybe he'll change his mind. Chapter 4, this change of plans greatly upset Jonah, and he became very angry. So he complained to the Lord about it. Didn't I say before I left home that you would do this, Lord? That is why I ran away to Tarshish. I knew that you are merciful, that you are a merciful and compassionate God, slow to get angry and filled with unfailing love. You are eager to turn back from destroying people. Just kill me now, Lord. I'd rather be dead than alive if what I predicted will not happen. The Lord replied, is it right for you to be angry about this? Then Jonah went out to the east side of the city and made a shelter to sit under as he waited to see what would happen to the city. And the Lord God arranged for a leafy plant to grow there, and soon it spread its broad leaves over Jonah's head, shading him from the sun. This eased his discomfort, and Jonah was very grateful for the plant. But God also arranged for a worm. The next morning at dawn, the worm ate through the stem of the plant so that it withered away, and as the sun grew hot, God arranged for a scorching east wind to blow on Jonah. The sun beat down on his head until he grew faint and wished to die. Death is certainly better than living like this, he exclaimed. Then God said to Jonah, is it right for you to be angry because the plant died? Yes, Jonah reported, even angry enough to die. Jonah got some real attitude with the Lord. Then the Lord said, you feel sorry about the plant, though you did nothing to put it there. It came quickly and died quickly. But Nineveh has more than 120,000 people living in spiritual darkness, not to mention all the animals. Shouldn't I feel sorry for such a great city? That right there is so powerful. This is such a powerful, that's probably why I love this story. This is such a powerful thing. Jonah is mad. Maybe if you've never been cheated out of anything, Jonah is one of the stories that I teach in Courageous Discipleship. It's one of the stories that we go through and really study at great lengths. And I'm going to give you a little background real quick. Here's the thing. The people of Nineveh, they were evil. The Lord said it, and Jonah knew it personally because those people were responsible for the deaths of many people of many Israelites. So they did evil things, and not just evil things in general, like they lived a lifestyle that was unpleasing to the Lord. Not just that, they were actually killed and tormented people. And some of the people they killed and tormented were of the children of Israel, which Jonah is a part of. So it's like y'all have been torturing and killing our people for years, and now he want me to come and give y'all this message and tell y'all something. And I know how he is, so if I come tell y'all this, then y'all probably gonna change your ways, and he gonna let y'all live when really y'all deserve to die, because y'all ain't no good, because you're evil and you're doing evil things. I don't know if you're honest enough to consider if you have ever taken comfort and knowing that someone who did you dirty, the Lord was also going to do dirty. Or if you were agitated, right? Oh, that's me. You were agitated that it seemed like the Lord showed grace and mercy and favor to somebody who cheated you, mistreated you, abused you, mishandled you, or attacked you. Physically, mentally, emotionally, or financially. Now he's gonna let those people, he gonna show them compassion. I know you love everybody, but sir, right? That's what Jonah's saying. He's so angry. I also love that we can see that Jonah and God have a close enough relationship that Jonah is not trying to hide how he feels. He might be out of pocket, but there are certainly times in our lives where things are not going well, or things are horrible, or we feel horrible, and we are angry with God. And instead of taking our anger to God and being honest and vulnerable, we stuff it down and pretend like we're not. We gloss over it with some type of Christian cliche and say, the Lord, everything happens for a reason. He's in a better life. Oh, he's in a better place. Right? We kind of gloss over it. So either we stuff it down, or we gloss over it, or we withdraw. But it's the confronting and the allowing the Lord to see the fullness, right? Share it, because the Lord can see it anyway. But sharing with the Lord the fullness of who we are and our emotions in that moment is a thing that really can truly, help us to have a stronger relationship with God. And so I love that you can see that Jonah's like, yeah, I am mad. God's like, you got it right to be mad. I do. As a matter of fact, I do. I'm like, what? Who talking to the Lord like that? Us? Those of us who are close enough to him to share our anger, frustration, and disappointment. All right. I pray that this has blessed you. If you want to grow in your faith and you want to have bold faith and you want to be a part of a community of people who are committed to their individual growth, in their faith and spiritual formation through the study and application of the Word of God, this is a great place for you to be. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you love it here and you know that Bold Faith Community Church is more than a YouTube channel. We are a community. We're more than a channel. We're a community. Go ahead and share this. And if you like the reading, then like the video. All right. And we will see you back here tomorrow at 7 a.m. EST for Mornings in the Word. As always, thank you so much for being here.